In January, Waimea Valley temporarily closed so they could do rock scaling to make sure the park is safe for visitors. But that's not the only changes they're making. They have exciting announcements for 2014, including the revival of some old favorites.
Well, we had to close the valley down for almost 3 weeks in January. We wanted to make sure the valley was safe for all our visitors, so we did rock scaling, especially the main entrance, which is a very risky area. We completed rock scaling around the waterfall, which is another area that has very steep walls and lots of rocks, and a few smaller areas in the valley that are considered Class A rockfall areas. So we've made the valley much safer for our visitors. Last year we received funding from Hawaii Tourism Authority and OHA to actually restore a native forest in our back acreage. We actually have 1,800 acres here. Lower part of the valley is only about 150 acres. The back acreage is almost 1,700 and something acres. So we took 15 acres of what was pretty close to a native forest, and we fenced the entire area, keep all the pigs out, all the other animals that would dig up our native plants. We've removed some of the invasive trees and plants, and we've planted additional native plants, so it's pretty close to what a native forest would have looked like hundreds of years ago. We're going to start an eco tour in 2014, next couple of months, and what it'll do is it'll take people up to this 15-acre native forest, and they'll be able to get a glimpse of what a native forest looks like. We are also going to take another 30 acres that we are going to reforest just on this ridge above us. And for that project, for that eco tour, we're actually going to take people into the forest, and they're going to be able to help us remove invasive weeds and trees. They're going to be able to help us plant native plants, native trees, and restore the forest. This is the Kauhale, or the living site, where the Kahuna Nui and his family, the high priest, and his family would have lived hundreds of years ago. And we're in the process of restoring this entire area. We'll restore it to what it would have looked like hundreds of years ago when the Kahuna Nui and his family lived here. There'll be 8 hale, representing eating houses, sleeping houses, storage houses, even a meeting house that will also be the canoe house. So we'll have, like I say, 8 hale. We'll re-landscape the place. All the plants in here, with the exception of the monkey pod trees, are canoe plants. So we'll be featuring all the native or canoe plants that were brought into Hawaii when the Polynesians first came. The cultural program staff will really be taking the lead in the restoration, and will be working with the Women's Community Correctional Center work line. These are groups of 10 women. We hope to have 2 of the work line coming in, and they'll be helping us to restore the hale. We're in the process now of taking them up into our upper acreage, cutting down trees for the posts and beams for these hale, because we'd like to try and build the hale with all the materials from the valley. This is our newly restored amphitheater. It was used probably about 15 years ago. It had wooden railroad ties and benches on top. We've replaced all that, all volunteer labor. We had volunteer contractors come in. We've had a lot of money donated, a lot of time donated to rebuild this. Of course, our staff was involved, but mostly volunteer help, volunteer or donated money. We've restored it. Our plan is to dedicate it on March 15th to Uncle Rudy Mitchell, who was the historian, archaeologist here at Waimea Valley, uncovered many of the cultural sites. So we're dedicating it to him. We're also going to recognize all those individuals, companies who donated money, donated their time to help us restore this. It probably seats about 600 people, and it was used in the past for a very well-known hula competition, the Kahiko hula competition. It was the only competition where men and women competed against each other, and it's a solo competition. It was here for 29 years, so when we do it this year, it'll be the 30th year. We're going to do it during the Makahiki season, and we're really excited about bringing this competition back to Waimea Valley in this newly restored amphitheater. This is the Proud Peacock restaurant. It was a very popular restaurant back in its day, probably hasn't been open for about 15 years, but we're in the process, the final phase of getting it reopened. We've done a lot of renovation work up here. We got in our tables, our chairs, we're about ready to set up. We got new equipment. We refurbished the bar, and we're in the process of finalizing the menu, which of course will be very focused on our local foods, our local beef, local chicken, local vegetables, and planning to open up around the middle of March. So we're looking forward to the community to come back and enjoy what was here many years ago. We're going to try and have entertainment as much as we can. And we're also going to make sure that our visitors experience some of our local cuisine. Starting this month, we are implementing our Family Day program. It's going to be the first and third Sunday of every month. And for our local residents and military, $20 for the entire family. That's 2 adults and up to 4 children under 18 years of age. $20 gets you in. We're going to have special activities, lei making, we're going to have ukulele lessons, we're going to have activities for the kids, we're going to have special food items. So it's going to be a fun family day for all, and looking forward to seeing as many people there as want to come.